Hello, everybody. It's the old bear from the old bear's den of Bigfoot. We're going to get started. Stick around. This is going to be a good one. We got a lot of stuff to get on to. Hello, everybody. It's the old bear from the old bear's den of Bigfoot. Tonight, we got a special guest with us. Greg, he has a YouTube channel. It's in my favorites. Please go and subscribe to it. He's very good. He's a young investigator. He's very good at what he does, and he's dealing with some Bigfoot around a battlefield. And these Bigfoot, there's one Bigfoot in particular we're going to get in to talk about, and we'll bring him back on, and we'll get the show started right now. Hello, Greg. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing great. How about you, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. Well, first thing I want you to do is talk about your channel, your Backwoods Cryptids.
Okay. Well, I'll start with what got me inspired to finally get off my tail end and do this. Was actually everyone's heard the show. If you're watching this, you probably watched the show Mountain Monsters as well. And ever since I was a kid, I've been into Bigfoot, stuff like that, from Unsolved Mysteries. And they first showed the Patterson Gimlin footage.
Mm-hmm.
I showed my grandma, and my favorite segments are always the unidentified creatures, unknown creatures. I realized one thing stopped me. If those guys are out there doing this, was me. So I figured that's time I got off my butt and done something. I started doing investigations with other groups, and then my wife suggested, why don't I do my own YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what would I call it? And I thought, well, I'm a backwoods son of a gun. I'm out looking for cryptids, so I call it Backwoods Cryptids. But I'm not telling anyone just to go out and start a YouTube channel. At least know what you're doing in the woods. Safety first. Have your compass. Have a basic knife. Whatever survival gear you need in the woods. But I also have some training. Take some classes if you need to. Me, I'm ex-military.
Mm-hmm.
And ex-corrections officer, so I got that on my side too. And plus, I grew up in the woods. Hunting, fishing, camping, hiking. All my life. And then I started about a year ago. And I thought, well, they do something local. So I thought, what's the most well-known local creature that everyone in my area knows about? And that led me to a story called Old Green Eyes.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah. So I started digging. I even went to a local library. And they gave me access to the special section that you can't check anything out at. You have to leave it there at the library. And I came across a book that talked a bit about how it was spotted during the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing predates the Civil War in my book, the way it sounds. Because it was spotted there during then. I looking through Cherokee mythology to see if it has any Cherokee connections as well, because the Cherokee were here first. Because I always tell people, if you're going to research, just don't research the white man stories. You got to go back to the first people.
Right.
Otherwise, you're cutting out half the story.
Right.
And I got a book. Actually, I got it right here to show you. I highly recommend this for anyone that grew up in the Cherokee lands.
Mm-hmm.
Very good book for Cherokees resource. It even teaches their language in there, the written language.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to find that nowadays unless you go on the internet. Problem is,
Yeah.
people like me and you, we go out in the woods. A lot of times, there ain't no internet to go by.
Yeah.
We go deep. And I came across some Bigfoot stories, of course. But now we now know as this Stone Man.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed a connection between that and some of the other stories around here, like up on Lookout Mountain. There's a story about a guy. He was a geologist. He was gathering samples. Saw this big hairy thing carrying a log like a walking stick. And that was they call that the first sighting around here for Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
The description of this creature and the description of the Stone Man, they're identical. And I thought, well, Lookout Mountain's not too far from the battlefield, so I started trying to find a connection there. Still looking for that one. But now, old Green Eyes, there's several theories as to what it is. Some say it's a ghost of the Civil War.
Yeah.
But my opinion is, if it was spotted during the Civil War, how can that be?
Well, it's impossible. It predates the Civil War, so therefore it can't be a ghost
Exactly.
of a soldier or someone that died during the battles there.
Exactly. So I immediately threw that theory out the window.
Right.
And then there are some people saying it's a statue come to life. The only way that could be is demonic possession or something like that. But I've watched that statue at night. It don't move at all. I've watched it several times. It don't move. So I'm like, okay, that obviously isn't it. Then I started exploring the woods around the area where this thing's been spotted, which is Snodgrass Hill and Wilder Tower area in the battlefield, Chickamauga National Battlefield. And I started finding tree structures. Some simple ones, just like the simple X.
Okay. Tell us about the tree structures that you found in the area that Green Eyes inhabit.
Well, I found several. I found X's.
Mm-hmm.
I have found one big one that, I mean, I could not wrap my. I'm a wide fella. You can see that, but I could not wrap my arms around this one piece of a log that was upright, hollowed out, split down the side, and another tree just jammed into the split. I mean, like chinks jammed into the split like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nature don't do that. I've never seen nature do that. And this thing was massive. No, I mean, if the humans had done that, it had to have machinery. There was no signs of machinery had even been there.
Okay.
No signs of rope damage to the bark on any of the parts of this thing. Which, if you use a rope, you're going to leave markings on the bark.
Yeah.
So I chalked out. I was able to toss out. Okay, this is not man-made. Not man-made. That's you, me. This ain't nature making this because it's too intricate. That leaves Bigfoot.
Right.
So that led me to looking for other things in the park. And I thought back to the first section I found and thought, wait a minute here. What if this is a pathway marker? Like you go from one X and you go straight and you'll find another one nearby. And I started that, and I started finding more and more X's on the other end of the park where the water is. So okay, it's over here for a water source. All the deer hang out on this end. That's its hunting grounds. And then I went up right by the creek, and that's when I found the huge teepee structure. And ironically, there are old. I think it was like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 graves there. And it's fenced off, real fancy metal fence. About, I'd say just a couple of yards from the grave. Those graves, that's huge teepee structure. All logs, and I know daggone sure nature don't make teepees out of logs. So I'm still looking to the park to see if I can find any other evidence. I've been working with Jasper Walls from Bigfoot and things on that.
Mm-hmm.
When he's available. A lot of times my wife will go with me, but she just chooses to sit in the truck sometimes when it's hot out because of her asthma. So have her put the windows down. If it's super hot like it is here lately, I'll leave the AC on the truck running for her. But I do make sure if she's going to be in the truck by herself in the wood area, she has her firearm with her. So we have her little 9mm with armor piercers on it. I tell her, I don't care what you have to do. If you have to shoot to the glass, you shoot to the glass.
Right.
I can replace the glass. I cannot replace the wife.
Yeah. I understand where you are.
So she has that. And if I hear those shots, I know to get my butt back in the vehicle real quick. And the reason I chose arm piercing rounds for that is a 9mm. If it's a Bigfoot, they're tough.
Yes.
So something small enough for her to carry and easy for her to use, 9mm, need arm piercing rounds to actually penetrate the hide if it gets to that point.
Yeah.
I always pray to God it never gets to that point. And there's one thing that Green Eyes is just a head looking for its body, again, from the Civil War. But then we already discussed that. You can throw that out. It was there before the Civil War. There's a report soldiers, they're the Civil War, went out to recover the bodies of some of the fallen. When they came back and reported to the commanding officer that they were scared back to camp by a creature with protruding fangs from its mouth. And the breath, it roared at them. The breath had the smell of rotting meat. That's very specific. A little too specific to be made up in my book.
Right. Well, you know what kind of that would be, right?
There's about 3 kinds, if I call it Squatch out when I first met you, the Janoskwa.
Janoskwa is the one that looks like a demon walking the earth. The ones with the protruding teeth and a kind of a poofy, ape-like mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Is a Gugway.
Gugway. I couldn't remember what kind it was because I didn't write those down back then. I should have.
I know. It's not a big deal, buddy.
But those are known to be, from what you told the Squatch out, they will eat. They're omnivorous. They eat vegetables. They eat meat, and they would do see us sometimes as part of the menu.
Yes.
See, I listened. I just couldn't remember how to pronounce them. Now, so I'm thinking it. Now, how did you pronounce it? The Gugway?
Gugway.
Gugway. That's what I'm thinking this one in the battlefield is. So I started looking up other possible Bigfoot sightings just in Walker County, Georgia. That's where I live. And I found a good number of them on the BFRO's website. All of them centered on Pigeon Mountain in Lafayette, Georgia. So I said, okay, let me go look into this. I started going up there looking for things. I found minor things, nothing real hard concrete. Small X's like a little kid would do, like a little young Bigfoot might do, or even a small human might do just playing. But then one night I thought, okay, I'm going to pool ball. I'm going out at night. I got me a thermal now, thanks to my wife. She got it for me 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago for my birthday. She got me a thermal camera. And I didn't know they made them this daggum small.
Yeah, they make them small. They're hard to keep a hold of.
That's why I put it on my wrist like this.
I understand.
And it's real hard if you have a rifle on one hand and this on the other.
Yeah, I understand that.
Like I said, my rule if I go out with people doing this, I'm gonna have 3 things guaranteed on me: a good knife, which I have a K-bar for that, a good sidearm, and a good long arm. Because we don't know what. Because it's not the Bigfoot that worried me. Because it could be a friendly one. It could be the third kind that's just curious about it that you told us about. I'm worried about the other threats we know for sure out there, or other people who are being, evil out there. So I carry a 08 AR-10. So basically, anything I'm shooting at, I hit, it is dropping.
Right.
And I chose the AR because it's very similar to what I carried in the military. So I'm familiar with it. I can take it down, clean it. Now I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry, I have ADHD, so I'm gonna get sidetracked some.
I understand that.
Now in national park, I'm not allowed to carry a rifle. So I stick to my handgun, but I carry extra clips in that case. So I got where I can carry at least 3 on me at one time, plus the one that's usually in the firearm itself.
Right.
That way, I may not have a lot of heavy power, but I got plenty of what I got,
Right.
and I can run and gun if I have to. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure a 45 is gonna slow it down some if I hit the knee.
Right. But let's get back on green eyes.
Yeah.
People are interested about the history of it and what
Okay,
you've
now
seen.
the history goes that it's been in those woods. Like I said, the predates the Civil War, so it's been there during the Civil War all the way up to modern time. People have been seeing this thing. Even a park ranger. I had told the story, I think, on my YouTube channel. I can't remember exactly which of my books over here it's in. But he saw it while he was just doing general rounds, checking on campers and so forth when they allowed camping, which they suddenly stopped, which I find interesting. And there's a story about that too, which I might as well go ahead and get into that. The reason I thought they stopped letting Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts all camp in that park is because one night, the story goes, is group of scouts out camping, and just standing outside the light of the fire, we cannot see it because the fire's not bright enough. They heard something move around on 2 legs. And then all of a sudden, one of them just like in a trance. Never seen again. Not even a body recovered. Again, that goes back to that Bigfoot theory. He got eaten. And if you go by some researchers, Bigfoot will break the bone and suck out the marrow.
Yes.
In fact, I think you mentioned that when I met you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing he probably wound up in the digestion tract somewhere, and they used the bones as toothpicks.
That's never good.
No. But not long after that, they didn't allow camping of any kind in that park.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't find that that's an odd coincidence, I think. So, and then the story goes, one guy was using the main road, the fat road that goes right down the center of the park. It used to be the main way, like Walker County with the rest of like Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, Ringgold, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It was going. This was back in the '60s, I believe. I think it was in the '60s. He was on the way to pick up a date after he got off work. He saw his glowing green eyes, and it ran him off the road.
Mm.
This thing, he says, put out its own light off the eye, not the eye shine, but putting out light. And next thing you know, he sees this thing on top of the car. So now, wait, he describes it. It was more like a canine face than an ape face. Which brings me why I think it could also possibly be a dog man.
Okay.
And I think I was going to the third theory just talking to you just now. I'll get into that with you in a sec. This will be an
Right.
So, but he said this thing was on all fours, growling at him on the hood of his car. And then another car started to approach it, ran off into the woods. It was a park ranger checking on it because they saw him off the road and then it smashed into a tree. He described what he saw as a park ranger. The park ranger thought he was out of the scored.
Yeah.
Who? I mean, come on. Wouldn't you? If someone told you that story, if you didn't know better?
Well, yeah, before I knew about Bigfoot, yeah, or cryptids, yeah, I would think they were probably a little out of their mind, yeah.
Now, the theory I came up with while just talking to you is something I didn't consider tonight. I really have to consider. What is a skinwalker? A shapeshifter. That's why it has so many different descriptions.
It's a possibility.
You just helped me put that together, too. I'm not talking about it out loud. I'm going to have to look into that now because, I mean, this all used to be Cherokee land where I live. I think you live in it, too, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to go back to Cherokee stories. And if you read Cherokee stories, it's full of different types of shapeshifters, skinwalkers, and all of them are bad. Ain't no good. Which would explain why it was seen during the Civil War amongst the dead bodies. It was looking for an easy meal. Uh, Now the park ranger who saw it. Let's get back to that one. I'm sorry, I'm back and forth in here.
I know.
Creature he described was walking up on two legs, and he said it either had a coat on, a long coat, or its hair was long enough that waved in the wind like a coat. But yet the wind was only affecting the creature, not affecting the trees. He couldn't feel the wind. It only saw it through the creature's movement. Only thing I know walks on two legs and has that much hair is a Sasquatch, a Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I've been told a moment ago. I thought, hey, this has to be a Bigfoot or a dog man. But then I just said it could be a shapeshifter. Now, in my investigation, I have talked up. So like I said, I gotta rule out something because unfortunately, in this day and age, you gotta worry about what people are drinking and what they're using, or if they're tired, like just got off a long shift and driving home, and they're not all their full faculties because they working hard. And they just drive by and see something. Well, you deer hunted before.
Oh yeah.
How many times you sit deer and just the eye shine they appear green and almost like they're giving off their own light?
It's happened quite a bit. When you're going. We used to drive for hours and to go deer hunting,
Yeah,
uh, and you would see quite a few deer. And yes,
yeah.
it appeared that their eyes could be green or yellow or white or.
Well, I'm shocked up. I'm not saying a whole chunk. I'm just saying a little 25% of these sightings. I'm going to say are misidentified deer from people that are using, drinking, or overworked.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
So I have to consider that as a possibility, especially in this area. So unfortunately, just over the next ridge, that's Meth Mountain. What we call it, it's called Sand Mountain, but everywhere he calls it Meth Mountain. So I have to consider that. If I didn't, I would not be a good investigator. Now, as for the floating head, that was just they see just a floating head looking for its body. I could say that could be an owl. So I'll chalk that down to another to 5 because the owls are not that big and abundant. The big owls you don't see a whole lot of them in that park. You see them more on the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I do know park rangers are not supposed to talk about it. I've been told that flat out when I was a kid. My uncle used to work at that park. I asked him about it. He goes, "Can't talk about that." My uncle said, "Dude, you're going to get them in trouble and possibly lose their job. Don't ask about that here." I was at one of the company picnics. But that struck me as kind of odd. Why are they hiding it?
Good question.
So I kind of have two investigations going right now. Like I said, the green eyes. As I get more information, I go back to it. As I get more information about the other investigation, I go to it. I'm just bouncing back and forth, and it kind of works with me being ADHD. That way, I don't get too bored with either one. Now, recently, back to the green eyes part, I was getting dinner for me and my wife at the Little Caesars. Pizza. Anyway, and a guy recognized me from my YouTube channel, Backwoods Cryptids, and told me about this one part of the park. I know exactly what he's talking about. If you're going through my end of the park, there's a little pond. You have to walk to it, but he'd be out there fishing. They do allow fishing out there as long as you have a fishing license. And he started hearing tree knocks out there because he's fishing late at night. Now I hadn't had a chance to go back up to that area yet because work. My wife's had some health issues. I mean, I don't mean to get too personal, but we've had since November we've lost 3 babies due to miscarriage. One of them had to get surgically removed because it was in her fallopian tube, and that one I about lost her too. So I've been mostly working and taking care of my wife until she's fully recovered. But as soon as she's able, we are going to go check out that spot in the daytime first. If you're going to go check out something, folks, please go look at it in the daytime first and get out there before nightfall. Do your recon first. That's the safest thing to do.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yes.
Because if you go in there at a blind location at night, you don't know what's in there. You don't know what the terrain's like. You can get hurt. And it won't even be because of a Sasquatch, because you stumble on something you didn't know was there.
Yep.
Or if you're on the mountain, you can go over a ridge if you didn't know the tree line ended. Suddenly, right there at the drop off.
Yeah.
And that's, hey, we're in the Southern Appalachians. That's a big possibility if you're on a mountain.
Yes.
uh,
So, Greg, whenever you're talking about there's there's a theory that we talked about before the show, and we were discussing green eyes.
Now, yeah, I'll get to that one. Now, I have a buddy of mine, a real good friend. I worked with him at the local music park. He just moved back to here, so he's looking for work what he did before. He's a pastor. And he's deeply studying the Bible, not just the English. He's going back to the original languages it was written in and studying. And he came on my show recently, and he came up with the theory. He said, "Greg, have you ever thought that thing might be a demon?" I said, "Well, no, I haven't."
Possibility.
Why? I said, "No, I hadn't thought of that. Why don't you come on my show? We talk about it," and that's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
He explained that I'm going to have to paraphrase, put in my own words, because can't 100% remember the words he put. But he said because it was demons are found around suffering and death, and during the war, there's a lot of suffering and death.
Mm-hmm.
It was a war. I mean, you literally had brothers on one side, and you had another brother over here in the Union. That happened. I can understand that. I said, yeah, that's a good point. And then he started talking about, demon and angels. Demons used to be angels at one point. They were fallen angels.
Yes.
That's that.
Yes.
So angel is more of a job description. It's like demon. They have actual names. And even he still quotes some scripture. I can't remember exactly. I should have brought my notes out for this. Future reference. When you're doing a show, get your notes out. But he used back in Genesis talking about the serpent, which we all know that was Lucifer.
Right.
But he showed these old coins that were dug up in archaeological locations, and like Israel and stuff, where it had serpents with wings, sometimes 2, sometimes 4 wings. And he said that just shows you that they can take animalistic form. So, Greg, what if this creature everyone's been seeing all these years from the Civil War to today is a demon taking some animalistic form? Maybe combining a few forms like the Chimera.
Possibility.
Yeah, I mean, just one I got to consider. And you watched that episode yourself, and he put up a very good case about it. And then you told me today, right before the show, what if it is a Bigfoot that has been possessed demonically? You brought that up yourself. Well, if you study, I can get my words right. Study the history of demon possession. Some people are creatures that are demon possessed. They can live millennia with that possessed demon. So that could be a Bigfoot that's been walking the earth for God knows how long with this demon in it.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as we know, that could be the whole reason skinwalkers exist.
Yes. Skinwalkers are they're a demonic creature. Because they're not there to help human beings.
No.
They're there to harm. And the thing of it is, a skinwalker can take in any form that it wants to. And if it was a demonic skinwalker, then you have trouble with, it can become a dogman. It can become a Bigfoot. It can become a rake. It can become anything that it chooses to be because it has that ability.
And also, if you go by the stories, they can get in your head and find out which of those forms will scare you most. They'll take that form and use it against you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're most afraid of Bigfoot, it's going to appear to you as a Bigfoot. Meanwhile, the guy right next to it may be more afraid of dog man, so he'll see a dog man. Now, that's pretty much as far as I've gotten on the green eye stuff for now. But on a
Yeah.
side note of that, October 5th, they are having a green eyes festival down here. It's the first one.
Okay.
Kind of like the Mothman Festival. We're having the Green Eyes Festival down here in Chickamauga, Georgia, October 5th. Anyone watching, please come on down. They get because they found out about my research and gave me a free table to interview people about green eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be there. Hey, maybe you'll come down and visit. I don't know.
And you never know if the wife's watching. So if your wife and you sweet talkers, she might decide that we're coming.
Well, I would love to see y'all again. And this time instead of meeting us as a boyfriend and girlfriend, we'll be meeting us as husband and wife. Oh, she's over here embarrassed. She's hiding her face.
Now, before the show, as we were talking, Greg,
Yeah.
you were telling me about an encounter that you personally had out on the mountain.
Yeah.
Let's talk some about that.
Okay.
Tell me how you got started, and then tell me what happened.
Okay. Let me go all the way back to the beginning here on that then, because I started researching other Bigfoot sightings in Walker County. That led me to Pigeon Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I've been up there fishing, hiking most of my life. People go up there turkey hunting, deer hunting. Very known area. Now here's where it gets interesting. It makes a V shape and connects with Lookout Mountain, where that old, just after the Civil War sighting took place. That geologist. So I got up there looking around in the daytime, a lot of daytime scouting out. Now this is before I started doing on YouTube, and also minimal research. They've had encounters up there. They used to be on the website where they had thermal images of Bigfoot up there. So I came across that, and I thought, okay, let's see how this make me connect to the park. So I started going up there, camped out a few times, had stuff thrown at the tents, like acorns and stuff. And the acorn tree, like about 10 foot back in the woods, not far enough to hit the tent. So that to me said, okay, we got something up here intelligent enough to throw these things and throw them pretty good because they're making a thump, thump, thump noise every time they hit the tent.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's something picking up in this like we used to do with stones as kids.
Yeah.
So I started going up there at night. First few times didn't really have much happen, so I did something against your better judgment and advice. I tried a tree knock. I know we already talked about it before the show.
Greg, look, I know your wife's sitting there.
Yep.
Young lady, smack him in the back of the head the next time he does tree knocks. There you go.
And just real quick, there's my wife. Come on. Married on December 22nd. Been with her 4 years total.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, I did the tree knocks, and I had something real close by roar at me. Like I said, in that area, I go in with a rifle.
Right.
I keep it slung like they taught us to do in the military. I slung that thing at it. I broke my military record less than a second. And I backed all the way back down to where she was at in the truck. Because she couldn't find her boots, so she just wore Crocs. And turned out those don't do too good in the woods.
No.
But now, here's the interesting part I did not tell you about. While I was up on the bridge and she was just relaxing in the truck, I get back down to the truck. She's got her gun aimed like this, about to shoot out my windshield. She has a Bigfoot watching her. Right by this little place called the Blue Hole. It's a local wading pool for the little kids.
Yeah.
And the reason I went there is because some reports about Bigfoot activity up near the old walk course. You can't get it by a driver and have it closed off. So the closest place you can get to at that point is the Blue Hole.
Okay.
Now, that has me a little concerned because we have kids going and playing in that area. If you look at missing 401, when it comes to possible cryptid, it's 9 times out of 10, it's a little kid. Because was after this big hairy man. Part of that is one, parents not doing right while keeping an eye on their kids, and two, kids are curious.
Yeah.
I know it got me in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. I can't count how many times curiosity got my old backside busted by my grandmama. But I did it, and I backed. I mean, first quarter of the way down, I was backing down that mountain, my rifle up. I was not about to turn my back. What? Mm-hmm. Now, after that, I went back up there in the daytime. But Bobby Sledge, you remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He come help say out every now and then when he's able to, when his work schedule don't conflict. And he brought one of those parabolic dishes. And we got vocalizations. Now, we forgot to put a chip in to record the vocalizations because I didn't know he was even recorded. I thought he was just let you hear it. I didn't know he was recorded until after he told me. I said, dude, wait, I would have brought a chip to put in it so I could have it on my show. But after that, I decided I'm going to get me one of those things now. Because that's one thing I missed. I got night vision, I got thermal. All I need is a parabolic dish. I'll have the whole setup.
Right.
And then I'm going to probably try to put my own team together a little bit, locals, woodsmen, former military, and even maybe former police, because they got to have outdoor training too, because if people go missing, the police are the first ones to go look for them.
Yeah.
And I live in a very rural environment. So I'm going to try to get a team of woodsmen, ex-military, and police. Because at least I know they know what they're doing. And just, we're going to, if that team does happen, that way I have all the equipment already,
Greg, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you got roared at, do you think you could imitate that here now?
I think I can, but you might want to cover your ears.
No, don't do it loud. I mean, don't scream as loud as it.
Deep breath in.
Yeah. Okay.
That ain't no bear. I've heard.
No, that's not a bear. How far away do you think you were?
2 steps with those long legs, you'd have had me.
So maybe 15 feet.
Maybe just 10 from the way it sounded. 'Cause I could feel the reverberation right here. I mean, I could feel it. I couldn't feel the heat of the breath, but I could feel the sound waves. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does to me. Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you this. I have heard that same loud scream in my face before at night, and it kind of unnerves you a little bit. Not a lot, but it'll unnerve you.
Well, I made her one promise when I started this. No matter what, if I had to get in a firefight to do it, I'm coming home in one piece. I promised that to my wife when I started this.
I understand.
And I will keep that promise from now till I'm in the grave. So that's why I slung my rifle. I was unnerved, but I was going to make sure one thing. My mission is to get home to my wife.
Well, that's definitely what you need to do. You need to make sure you did, in my opinion, you did the right thing. You backed out of there and went back to your vehicle, and she had a creature there at the truck watching her, right?
She's over there putting up 2 fingers. She said she had one in front of her, and then she heard one that she saw the one in front of her. Then she said she had one on her side of the truck. So she wasn't about to get out of the truck.
Well, no, that'd be the worst thing for her to do.
Especially considering she was having her monthly time.
Right.
That tells me they were trying to either take her for one of two options: food or possibly mating.
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's try to keep it PG at least.
That's why I said the way I said it. I wanted to keep it PG. Trust me.
Yeah, the thought of that happening to your lovely wife is
That raged me out, and I pretty much threatened them all. Verbally out threatened them. Like, y'all do whatever y'all want to me, but y'all lay your hands on my wife, because y'all put hands on my wife, I'll burn your whole forest down to get you. I said that loud enough and yelled that loud enough I could hear the echo up on the top of the mountain, reverberating it. That made me mad.
it would make me mad also.
And you can do a lot to me, but when you mess with my wife, I'm coming for blood. I'm not gonna lie. That's who I am.
I got a question for you from the audience.
Okay.
Miss Vicky from the Not So Perfect Bigfoot Show. She wants to know what you carry with you when you go out like that. What were you carrying that night?
That night I was fully tacked out. Like I said, I'm ex-military. I know I call myself backwoods cruise, but if I'm going to do this, I might as well do it in a way I know I can succeed. So I do it
Right.
military style. And I got some of my stuff out here on my bed because I figured this question might pop up. My K-bar, standard good knife. Because any one of us knows you go out in the woods, you're going to have a good knife because that's the best tool in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had another knife on me. I'm not going to show it.
Right. We don't want to show firearms because
No, I have
so
Ruger.
Gets.
Yeah, I have a Ruger 1911 45 caliber I carry. I had a different type of machete. I just replaced it with one more to my liking, better quality. And it resembles remember the Predator movie?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that big Native American guy's machete.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's just the stuff that's on my belt now. My vest, I have my extra magazines and clips here and here. I carry multiple flashlights. Sometimes 2 to 4, anywhere in that range. Depends on how long we'll be out there. I carry extra batteries for the flashlights, and I carry my rifle, which is a AR-10 .38 rifle. I have a headlamp on sometimes, depending on where I'm at.
Right.
This area I don't know real well, even though I've scouted it out, but because of trails, fallen trees and stuff, if it's deep woods, I'll have a headlamp on. If it's someplace to keep the trails open on a regular, like the battlefield, I just go with compass. No matter where you, if you know the woods or not, the area you know, still carry a compass because things can happen. Whether you're a smoker or non-smoker, always carry a lighter of some type. That way, if you get stuck out there, you have a way to get yourself in.
Yeah, fire can give you a little bit of comfort if you're stuck out there late at night. Plus, they tend to kind of hang around the outside because it's light and they don't want to mess up their eyesight.
Exactly. I'll carry some food out there sometimes, like a couple of granola bars. I definitely carry a canteen of water. Don't ever go in the woods without water, ever.
Well, I'm glad you take that to heart because there's a lot of times when I first started, I didn't do things like that. I didn't carry water, didn't carry any food. Sometimes I didn't even carry a flashlight. So I'm glad you're smarter than me.
Well, all I can say is thank you, Uncle Sam, for the fine military training. Always carry a notepad and a pen and a marker.
Right.
Pen for writing down notes. Marker where, if God forbid, I get. This is going to sound crazy, but it works. If you find like rocks that going on a trail and there's multiple ways, like 5 or 6 different paths you can go down.
Yeah.
I take a rock, take a Sharpie, take the rock, put an arrow, and hit it pointing to the trail I took.
But what would you do? Wait a minute. Now, when you put an arrow on it and you put that rock back down to where you can find it, What would you do if a Bigfoot came behind you and turned it?
I'm about to get to
Okay.
that. Recently, I acquired a bunch. I used to work at a old folks' home in the kitchen. They're going to throw a ton of these red tablecloths.
Mm-hmm.
So I started fixing them and tying them onto the limbs and stuff as a secondary way. I always have two ways to make sure you don't get lost, besides that compass.
Smart
That's
move.
that's the old woodsman trick my great grandpa taught me. uh, and as for Bigfoot turning that arrow, he can turn it, but I know which way I pointed it because I was pointing toward where I went, not where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so what else do I carry? Oh yeah, of course my night vision. I carry that
Mm-hmm.
if it's a nighttime op, and I always carry my thermal. Both of them have ups and downs to that. Night vision, you can see real good around you, but you can't see what's around you that good unless it's right there out in the open. A thermal, you can't see too much real good right around you except for trees, but you can always see the body heat of any animal, no matter how small, if it's a warm-blooded animal.
Right.
So, like I said, they both have pros and cons, but both are important to what me and you do, or what you did back in your youth looking for this stuff. Uh, that's pretty much everything I carry. And besides my cell phone, of course, because I'm recording on it right now until I get a better camera. Let's say get me one of them GoPros. So I'm going to try to. Man, a friend of mine is working on a custom rig we're making. He does all this. He's basically the engineer behind me here. We're going to make it where it rigs up and sits right here. That way people can hear me and they get that first person perspective. And then we're going to have a second one rigged to come out in front of me so they can see me on camera. That way we get multiple angles. I can have a view behind me. That way if anything's behind me, I'll catch it too. And eventually I would like to get a drone cam just for some cheap aerial shots. So but right now that's pretty much everything I carry.
Well, you're pretty well outfitted for finding these creatures and knowing that you keep yourself safe. And even when your wife goes and sits in the truck, I'm glad she's protected too.
Yeah.
Uh,
I let her go unless she carried the gun. And I even make her carry a knife when I can talk her into it.
well,
Just as a last resort, because those knives are a last resort if you get in a fight with a Bigfoot. I mean, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get bad hurt. But if you have the kind of training like Uncle Sam provides, you have a slim chance of walking away. Or at
right.
least stepping away.
Well, you have a chance to get out. I
Yeah.
mean, you just got to remember that there's few places that you can stab one with a knife and
Yeah.
uh,
I go into full detail because I don't want no one haphazardly out there with a knife thinking they're going to take it on Bigfoot with just a knife.
well, you know, back in the first part of May when we were up in Salt Fort, uh, I'm going to tell this. This happened on that Saturday when we were up there. They had a guy come in and he kind of had the mentality, well, I'm going to go find Bigfoot and I'm going to shoot one of these creatures with a 45. And I went up and talked to him and I tried to explain to him, look, you, I understand that you've seen Bigfoot and I get that. But going out and trying to hunt one of these creatures with just a 45, you're asking for
Yeah.
a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, look how I was when
And
I first met you. All I
right,
had was a 357, a shotgun, and a knife. But that's all I had to work with at the time.
right. Well, I mean, you were protected enough to where you can definitely do something about if you were attacked.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. The problem is this guy was bound and determined to go out and shoot one, and he had his wife with him, and she was using a crutch, or and if this creature could get past him, what's his wife going to do? All
We're not
she's got is an aluminum crutch. What's she going to do? Hit it with a crutch? She's not going to harm it. It's just going to make it mad.
I'm
And
just making this joke in place of my wife because she's not here to make it. She had to run to the restroom. There's only one place I can see hitting a male Bigfoot, and that would work.
right, that'll work. But the problem is that don't last forever, and you know that.
Yeah, I know, but my wife would have made that same joke if she had been in the room just now.
I know. But no, Greg, um, you're there's a lot of things that you're doing that after I learned, about these creatures after watching the clan for 5 years,
Uh-huh.
you're doing now. And you've only been doing this, what, 2 or 3 years now? 4 years?
2 to 3 years before I started doing my show, and then
Uh-huh.
3 years now with the show.
Right. And
I'm gonna
and the thing of it is,
my knowledge from you, the talk you gave at Squatch Out that one time you was there. What's on a side note? Are you gonna be at this year's?
no, we're not. The my boss is throwing a hissy fit. He doesn't want me to take that Thursday and Friday off and then be gone all the way through till Monday. So
Gotcha.
he's throwing a hissy fit.
Gotcha.
We're having a shortage of drivers, good drivers. We can get drivers,
It just
but just can't get the ones that do the job right. You know what I'm saying?
well, my uncle was still alive. I'd send him your way. That one. He used to be a dang. I seen this man literally that much space between his trailer and the other ones, and he parks it perfectly.
But the thing I wanted to say to you, Greg, is you're doing a wonderful job of at this stage of finding, going out to get sounds and finding markers and everything. You're doing a wonderful job of it.
Thank you.
And what I would like to give you the chance to do is I can send you my phone number.
Uh huh.
And what I want you to do is call me.
All right.
And we're going to sit down. You pick an evening, let me know, and I'll sit down with you on the phone and we'll talk nothing but Bigfoot between me and you and
All
let
right.
you know some of the techniques that I used and that you can use.
Okay.
And I would be glad to help you out as much as possible. Um, I know the audience knows, and I told you earlier that I'm retiring from YouTube uh,
Yeah.
because of things that went on, and it's not because of me. It's because it's become a threat to my family.
Well,
And someone threatens my family, I don't care who you are.
you're like
I'll
me. You're the
find out sooner or later who it was, and
well.
they will either deal with the police or deal with me.
I'll say this publicly, just in case someone making the threats is watching. You go after my brothers, which this man is like a brother to me. Not only you gotta deal with him, you're gonna deal with me if I get hold of you. I'm making that public right now.
I appreciate it, Greg. I really do.
Now,
Um,
on a side note, I didn't tell you about this. I was wanting to be a surprise real quick. I met someone who, the decades before me, had already been doing research about Bigfoot here in this area. They've asked me not to give their name or much of their information, but they had passed their torch on to me, all their past information they're feeding to me in the exact same mountain. And that meant a lot to me that they reached out to me. They contacted me. So that meant a lot to me that they passed that torch on to me.
I understand. So, Greg, why don't you tell them your channel, where you're at, where you can be found, how you can be contacted,
All right.
and
Actually,
that way you can get more people in
I
your
got a
area
picture
talking
of
to you.
the end of one of my videos. I can send it to you if you can put it on the screen. Can you put pictures up on your screen?
Um, I don't know how to do that, to tell you the
Okay.
truth.
All right. Well,
I'm no good at it, buddy.
okay.
I can sit here and talk to you, but
Okay. Well, what I can find me on easily on YouTube. Just look up Backwoods Cryptids, and my wife recently suggested I expand to just advertise using Instagram under the same name, and Twitter under the same, not Twitter, TikTok under the same name, and that's I'm slowly trying to advertise myself more to get more viewers. Uh, I have an email set up, which all and you can find me on Facebook under the same name, Backwoods Cryptids. That's my group page that you can find me on. My phone number on the I ain't got memorized. So I just saw that up.
well, keep your personal phone number personal.
Wow, no, this one I had specifically for Backwoods Cryptids.
Okay.
Uh, oh, you have a picture with my contact info on your phone still? Okay. My wife made a picture at one point, so I've been using it at the end of my shows when it's recorded, not live. It has all the contact information on it. People watch my last video about Green Eyes being a demon. The very last thing you'll see on there is a picture my wife made for me with my phone number, all the ways you can contact me on there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I figured if I make up a phone number just for Backwoods Cryptids, people who don't want to go public with what they're finding or hearing, they may contact me more often.
Right.
Yeah, I live in an area where not everyone still has email. I live that far out in the woods. Not everyone, and some of these older folks, not all of them are computer inclined out here.
I understand that. Trust me.
So I won't be able for anyone and everybody who wants to reach out to. So I'm doing my best to expand that. If I don't respond right away, it means I'm at work. I usually work Monday through Thursdays right now. I'm off on Monday. Excuse me. I'm off on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So if you reach out to me, I will get back to you as soon as I get some time free. Bear, I'm going to say this out loud now. I've watched your show ever since I finally came across it on YouTube again. I'm going to miss it.
Well,
It's a temporary thing till everything settles down.
right. It is temporary. But there's, and here's the thing, Greg, it's a lot of other channels that are out there. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that are in the chat tonight. I'm not talking about none of you guys. I love every one of you. All my viewers, they're like family to us. But there are other channels out there that are jealous. They're upset because they don't know how to find Bigfoot. They hear something, they hear a place, they run there, and they don't go and check it out. They don't do an investigation properly, and it's not like what you're doing. You're doing it right. You're going and looking over the area, figuring things out, trying to figure out where they're going to be at that time. And
To anyone who wants to be more successful, I say this. Watch CSI, watch Criminal Minds, follow their investigative techniques. That's exactly how I'm doing. You handle it like a crime scene, folks.
yeah, but the thing of it is those channels that are out there, and there's a few. Some of them are out west, some are here in the east, some are in the south, even further south than you.
Oh, I know.
And there's one in particular further south than you that I hate to say this, but and this person knows exactly who they are.
Mhm.
You know, you want to come and check me out, go right ahead. You want to check out what I'm saying, go right ahead. I put it out there because it's the right way to do it.
Mhm.
It's, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say, oh, I heard a tree knock, like certain people further south than you have said,
Yeah.
when there's no tree knocks.
Yeah.
Um,
I hear
Other
some.
things that they do, they want to glamorize their channel and they want to be big and in the Bigfoot world.
Mhm.
Now, Kerry Arnold, we had our differences, but I still considered Kerry a friend. I mean, we would discuss things quite a bit.
Yeah.
Kerry Arnold became a big name in Bigfoot. And you notice I don't call it a community because it's not a community. Everybody's doing
They
everything
build
they
working
can
together a
to
little bit
make
better.
money from this.
No.
So if you're out there to make money off this stuff, it's not going to work out.
Can I just say this
Um,
one? If you're trying to make money for this, there's the door.
yeah,
If you're not in this for a passion, because you love the idea of Bigfoot, because you love the fact that this thing could be out there, and you just want people to know about it, there's the door.
yeah, and and guys like you are the backbone of this, of finding out about Bigfoot. I did my part. I found out about Bigfoot. It took me a long time, 40 years of this, buddy.
Yeah,
And
you're doing your best to pass on knowledge.
right, and people get upset because you might know something more than they do. But I'm glad that people like you, uh, Brian, who is Bigfoot's Barbershop, channels like that and like yours are the backbone. You're telling the truth about these creatures. You're not lying about them. You find things out and you tell people.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I applaud you for doing that, Greg.
on one of my live videos up on the mountain, you see me fully analyzing this one tree structure.
All right.
I'm up close, touching it, looking at it. Like, there's no way. If this had just been, if this had just been there, this would have crushed this one. You see me
Right.
trying to analyze this stuff. Uh,
So, Greg, I want I'm going to tell you this. Keep doing what you're doing, but make sure you come home every time. Be
I will.
careful
I will, because I made
and
that promise.
promise. I want you to promise me this, Greg. I want you to be cautious. Don't push your luck. Don't do like I did. Don't push as hard as you can push. Get your information, get your sighting, and then, leave it alone. And
That,
so, Greg, somebody asked, want to know what state you're in.
well,
Tell
I'll
us
go
the
ahead and
state.
tell y'all right now. I'll go on deeper. I'm in the state of Georgia, northwest Georgia, in the county of Walker County, Georgia. And no, we don't have no walkers from The Walking Dead. uh, I'm in a little town called Chickamauga, which is actually the
Um,
Native American name, Chickamauga. That's where I live. That's my home.
So, Greg, I mean, we've been on here an hour, a little bit over an hour,
Oh, goodness.
and
Time flies.
but I mean, you've represented yourself greatly here tonight, and I appreciate it. You're a very good friend of mine. Um, like I said, give me a call. I'll give you my phone number later,
All right.
and I'll send it to you. Call me, and we'll sit down and we'll talk for hours about things that that will help you out
Yeah.
about these finding these creatures. And I just caution you to be careful. You're doing it now, but be careful. You got a beautiful wife to go home to every day, buddy.
I know, and that's. I will ask this now. For anyone who's ever asked how you know you're in love, if you find someone who that's the only reason you still feel connected to humanity after you've been through the, part of my language, the hell of wars and combat, and you think you're losing humanity, and they pull you back to being humanity, that's how you find the one you love.
Yeah. So, Greg, we're going to end the show, buddy. You have a blessed night.
You too,
Take care of
brother.
that little woman of yours, and
I
she'll
will.
take care of you. And if she
Oh,
doesn't,
yeah.
call me and I'll talk to her.
You know, we're like, yeah.
So I appreciate you coming, buddy.
I
And
appreciate you.
I'm going to end the show, and
Okay.
I'm going to set you backstage, and I'll be right with you, okay?
All right, brother.
All right, buddy. Well, everybody, thank you for coming. Miss Vicky, Icebox, Brian, Bob, Leonard, Athos, I'm glad everybody has came, and we see my wife. Oh, there's Grizz. Hi, Grizz, buddy. And I thank you all for coming, and I'm glad that you came tonight, and you get to see the backbone of the Bigfoot, the ones that are looking for Bigfoot, and it's people don't understand. Guys like Greg are 1 in 1 million. Now I understand there's 330 plus million people in this country, but there's 1 in 1 million men like that. He's doing it right. And I hope that all of you go over to his channel and subscribe to it. He deserves it. He's doing some awesome work. And please, all of you, just go and subscribe to Greg and help support him in his endeavors to find Bigfoot and bring Bigfoot truth out. So we're going to end tonight's show. May you all be blessed and blessed every day of your life. And I hope and pray that every one of you will turn your life over to Christ, and I get to see you in heaven when we get to go. Thank you all for coming. I love every one of you, and I thank you. Bye now.